Ini Pak. Pakai nasa gancho. Wala, la cueca para ti.
Well, here we are, and you would think I had learned my lesson about booking with foreign agents. There are so many out there, so many loads on the load board that are from foreign agents. It's very difficult not to book a load with one because you're avoiding making money. But you know, it's just a nightmare trying to deal with them. I think most of them are from the Ukraine area, Eastern Europe, and I'm not sure where else. But I always get the runaround. Always. Not only when I'm trying to pick up the load, because I'm guessing this is probably double brokered from somewhere. I didn't see it on the regular load board anywhere, but it's just a job trying to get all the necessary information right off the bat, and then getting a payment. So this one, it was just absolutely convenient. I was delivering a load right down here toward Laredo, and last night I got to San Antonio. This morning when I got up, I looked on the load board, and there was a load picking up 5 miles from me going to Laredo. It was paying $2. Well, I talked them up to $2.50 a mile. So very good payday for a short run. Should have been very easy. And I hope this is the guy right here coming to open the gate. Nope. But here's, you know, this is the thing that always happens with the foreign agents. And this is why I check everything with a fine-tooth comb when they send me a rate con, and I try to nail them down on all the particulars. But they sent me a rate con to start out with that didn't have a delivery address, and it didn't have a reach number for anyone, the shipper or the customer. And I am not going to do that. If you start down that road, you're going to be wasting lots of time, because they once you sign that rate con, they believe they've got you on the hook. And so I try to nail down everything to begin with. So they put numbers on there, addresses, and I was, like I said, I was 5-10 miles away. I went over to pick it up. When I pulled up, I realized this place was an auction site, for a government auction site. And I pick up at these places all the time, and you cannot leave or cannot even pick up without an item release, which when the customer buys something, that's the first thing they give them. You print off the item release, and it has a picture of the product, what the product is, and you know, it's basically an invoice. So as soon as I pulled in the parking lot, I realized they didn't give me that. I tried calling her, didn't answer, emailed her. 30 minutes later, she sent me a regular invoice, but it wasn't an item release. And these places, they usually don't play around. If it's not an item release number, they're not going to give it to you. Luckily, fortunately, right as I was there, the owner of the whole place pulls up, and he gets them motivated and says, hey, you know, take this invoice and try to track down what product it is and all that. So it took them 45 minutes. As I'm waiting, I'm calling this lady constantly. Hey, I need an item releaser. I'm not going to get loaded. Is this the guy? Is this the guy? No. So she never responds, never sends me anything. And finally the people come back out and they said, okay, we can load you. We found the order and all this. So I looked down. When they gave me the paperwork they had, it was different information from what the agent had sent me. So again, I'm trying to call her, email her. You gave me the wrong address. I know she did it on purpose just to get me off her case. But then I looked down at the reach number she gave me, and it was one number too long. But anyway you tried, if you took a number off the front or off the back, it didn't make sense because of where the zeros and the ones fell. So finally, she emailed me, didn't say anything else, but just gave me an address. I took off. I'm sitting here. I show up, and the gate's locked. Nobody's here. I called her 30 minutes ago. She actually answered the phone. And I said, hey, I'm trying to deliver this phone number you gave me is BS. It doesn't mean anything to me. And she said, oh, I'll get somebody over there right away to unlock the gate. That's not exactly how she put it, but so it's just the runaround you get from foreign agents 99% of the time. And nobody wants to be that guy that says, anytime, you know, somebody with an accent answers the phone, you just hang up. But boy, it's just getting real close to that point, because, you know, I don't know what anybody's doing out there, you know, any government agencies are doing to try to protect us from these people. They're double brokering loads. I saw a website one time to report when you think you got double brokered. I don't know what good that's going to do if you can actually get the extra money that they're stealing from you, but at any rate, if you're going to book a load, you call on the load, and the number is New York or California, and a foreign voice answers. You're rolling the dice. That's all I have to say. You're rolling the dice. This one, I usually check their credit. One of the first things I do with my factoring company. But when I pulled this one up, I think I got this one on Truck Stop. And Truck Stop listed their credit rating as A, which is the best. I've never had an instance where Truck Stop said they were rated A and my factoring company wouldn't factor, but this was the first instance where that happened. I just made the assumption, hey, my factoring company's going to go for it. But no, they declined them. And that brings up another point. I tried to call her in the meantime and email her and say, hey, what payment options do you have available? Do you have quick pay? Of course, crickets, nothing from that. But you take your chances, and it's about 1:30 in the afternoon in Laredo. So if they show up in the next 30 minutes, I still have an opportunity to pick something up and get back on the road today. But this is one of those things that you have to weigh. Is it going to pay off to pick up that one extra partial that's going to pay you a few $100 extra, or should I just run with what I've got, get it delivered, get it off the truck, and pick something else up? Because you never know. This could run into a couple of hours sitting here waiting for these people if they get here today. But getting stuck in Laredo's, first of all, Laredo's a terrible place for freight. You would think it'd be the best place in the world with all the stuff coming across the border, but it's terrible. And getting stuck down here is not what you want, especially overnight. You just want to get down here, pick something else up, get back to San Antonio, Houston, or Dallas, and get back into the money areas. But here we are, lesson learned again, and we'll see what happens. And guess what? The foreign agent got me again, because the address I was told to deliver to isn't the right address. It just happens to be near there, and now I'm having to go down this muddy, bumpy road. Imagine that. Still going 10 minutes later. This is ridiculous. I think I crossed the border. I'm not sure where I'm at now. This is very odd back here. I'm way back in the middle of nowhere, somewhere very near the border of Mexico, and come up on this place and there's just hundreds of trucks, nice trucks. Well, that one's got a trailer and a load on it. Ooh, made it slide. Shit. About to get stuck. See all these trucks over here? They're in very good shape too. What's something odd is going on out here. Very odd. Whew, we may not make it back out of here. Oh shoot, I'm trying to stop. Slipping and sliding. Oh, there's a nice truck. Well, we got it delivered. That place out there, it's kind of a distribution point. It's odd that it's just absolutely out in the middle of nowhere. But from my really bad Spanish, what I understood from the guys, that they buy stuff at auctions and it all gets delivered out there, and lots of it gets cut up and sent over the border, and the stuff that's in good shape that'll run or tow, they'll tow it over the border and sell it in Mexico. So that's what that was, just a huge operation out there. And the guy, for whatever reason, when I first pulled into the drive, that's where he unloaded me. But for whatever reason, he took me for a tour about a half a mile through these muddy lanes back there, only to come back to the very spot where I just entered and unload me with a forklift. But it got done, and that's part of the battle, getting the information, getting it delivered. And the other part, which is the part I hate, and it's why I factor. Lots of people don't use factoring companies, and they invoice all their loads, and a lot of companies want to pay on a net 30 or a net 60, and that's the way you would normally do business if you didn't want to get charged and you trusted all your customers. So this broker, they didn't work with my factoring company. Their credit got declined, like 95% of them do. And so begins the process of trying to get your money. And what I do is I send them every piece of information on that load that I have, so that they can't come back and say, oh, my friend, you forgot to send this. Because they do it every single time. They find a way to keep pushing that payment back and pushing it back. So I send them a picture of it getting loaded. I send them a picture of it getting unloaded, the BOL, the invoice that I make, and the rate con, the original rate con, and whatever else I can find. I sent that yesterday at 2 o'clock or whenever I got unloaded. Didn't hear anything back. Didn't hear a response. Tried to call. They didn't answer. This morning, I actually got a call from the lady saying, okay, I need your Zelle, which my bank doesn't work with Zelle. I wish they did. It would make things so much easier. But I told her I didn't work with Zelle, and oh my God, it was the end of the world. And I said, I can give you my banking routing number. It's the exact same thing. It's just a wire transfer. And so we went back and forth on that, and she said, okay, I'll try to do a wire transfer. So that's where we're sitting right now. And it sounds promising, but I've got my fingers crossed, and we'll see. So, it paid $250, and it took me an hour and a half to get loaded, and it took me about an hour and a half to get unloaded. So 3 hours work over the other parcel that I was delivering. And I look like I'm parked in somebody's way. But was it worth it? Maybe. This time we'll see if we get the payment, but we're back on the road now. I just picked up another parcel heading to Houston, and we'll see if we get a payment.